Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2019. This is Stage Racer episode number 53. We continue on with La Vuelta Espana. We're on stage 13 of 21. And we've got some serious climbing to do at the end of this one, though the finish is not quite at the top of the climb. So there's still going to be a little bit left to do once you get to the top. Max gradient is 25% on this one. It's insane, and that looks to be right at the beginning of the climb, meaning the splits are going to happen very early on this 8.2 kilometer, 8.3 average gradient climb, and that's including the final roughly 2K where you descend before going up a little bit to the finish once again. So intense climb. And if that wasn't tough enough, there are 6 other climbs along the way, all categorized 3 or 2. Big day. And 168 kilometers, it's your average stage length, maybe a little short of average, but certainly not much. This is not that short, intense one. We've got a lot going on, and guaranteed I will be alone on that final climb. My teammates will not make it through the 6 climbs leading up to that. But just in case, we're going to play this one out in its entirety as we see what, if anything, we could do with this stage to improve our position overall. Of course, I am one of the stronger solo climbers in the field. I'm up there on that list of favorites. Lopez, Dumoulin, Carapaz up there with me, but surrounded by other contenders. So really there's a group of about 9 strong climbers in this field. So, okay. All or most of them also have that additional of they'll have teammates around until that final climb to provide some support that I can't say that I will have. That does put me at a little bit of a disadvantage. I don't think I have any intention of trying to break on the lower slopes of that climb and going off solo because it is just too far. Now, late in the climb, that's a different matter, but I really think that I will try to improve my position via survival because I could see time gaps being quite large today for those that are dropped. And if I attack too early, lose the pace, and then have the field reel me back in, I could still lose a ton of time. So, at least at this point, as the stage is loading, and I haven't seen what variables the race will throw at us, I do think that I'll just try to hang on. And as there isn't just a single climber in this field that's completely dominant, I think I'd at least try to stay with any acceleration. By contender, anyway. Win the stage.
A return to the Alto de los Machocos, first climbed in 2017. As seen then, a successful breakaway can lead to a surprise, and so would-be winners must be well placed in Bustaplada. From there, it's 7 kilometers of steep and narrow mountain track, albeit asphalt, with sections up to and beyond 20%. Hopefully, no Pasiega cattle will wander across the road.
Cattle crossing the road. Is this that one I remember a couple years ago? I think it is. I do vaguely remember the first year that they went up this climb, and there was cattle crossing the road, just up the road. They're trying to get them off and out of the way, and I don't think it, if I remember correctly, I don't think it affected the race directly, and they were able to just about get the cattle off the road before any racers are actually going through that area. But I do remember the cameras picking that up, but I think it was the like the advanced police force that handle the what do you call it, roadblocks, right, on the crossing streets. Yeah, anyway, that one was pretty funny. So you could already see just in the establishment of a breakaway just how much fatigue there already is, and we're approaching the first climb with a couple little uphill, downhill sections before going into the climb itself. This first one's not bad, but there's a little bit of a relentless nature to the up, down through these first, 4 climbs, that I have a feeling quite a few riders are going to be dropped by the time we go over this second climb. And you can see that my entire team is actually already fading here. Breakaway's been caught. It's going to back things off now, but at what cost? How many riders are going to get dropped? For Wilst is already a ways down. He could definitely get dropped. New breakaway trying to form. And this is why I wanted to stay alive. Even the very first climb is already done enough damage. Those riders who are off the back now very well could be eliminated. We're down to 120 in the peloton. For Wilst is out. Ooh, he's back in. Okay, he's part of the small group that just made it back on, but here we go. Up again. Now I'm recovered. I'm okay. Even I was pretty close to the edge there just a little bit ago. 7K, 7%. Already most of the way up. Just one rider off the front. Rough day for him. Others now going off the front attacking for the KOM points, which I have the lead in, but at this point, not concerned about that contest at all. We're still getting a little bit of yo-yoing in the field. You get a little bit of a break between now and that third categorized climb, but these two are a lot more intense. They're both category 2.
Look out, he's breaking away.
And the peloton begins to shatter right at the base, really. 12K climb, 4% gradient. It's not a big one, but because the nature of the stage, the up, down, and the inability to have a solid break, really messing with the field today. It looks like Sunweb at the front. It is. It's Sunweb at the front, putting a hurting into the field. For Wilst now out the back again. 4-minute gap to 2 riders. I still haven't gotten water. Banishek nearly back to the front. Thank you. Okay, Banishek recovers. Alright, if we make it over the top of this one, these guys will all recover on the descent a fair bit. So here in the middle portion of the stage, things have settled down a bit. Settled to the point that the 2 breakaway riders just jumped out to an 8.5 minute lead as we are taking our time right now. Look at that gap explode. 10 minutes. Mataway and Chacone, I believe, were the 2 names I just saw in that breakaway. Or is that new riders going off the front? Oh, of course.
Dennis has fallen.
If you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck at all. I'm all alone in this crash? I am all alone in this crash.
Watch out, a team leader is falling behind.
Okay, try to attack this descent a little bit here. We're almost down to the bottom, but let's see if we can pull back a little time here. Not a ton of stage left, so I need to get up here soon. There's for Will Stride on the back end. Can't attack too hard, but at the same time, how am I going to pull back enough time? Little uphill section is good for me, but at the same time, I don't have the energy to burn. Come on. I don't have control of 80 teammates, so I am all solo here. I cannot go over this whole valley alone for 20k and then catch them on the climb. I need to catch them, right now. Look at this energy just burn away. Is my whole race over in a solo crash on a descent? Who clipped my wheel to make that one happen? And it's sure looking like it is. Gap seems to be getting larger and my energy is fading very quickly. I'm done. Those guys have pulled away a bit. I'm not coming back at the field at all now. I have to wait for this climb. Oh, and only one rider... Oh, there was a temporary split there a moment ago. But I'm 2 minutes and 40 seconds behind. Okay, I'm pulling back a little time right now. Oh, because they've started going up. But I have no energy. It's fading. Minute 50. There's the field. If I can make it there, I can get a rider to protect me. Okay, we're going uphill. Go 85. Go 85. I can make a good pace here. Minute 30.
The pack is still losing ground to the breakaway.
Okay, I've made it to the peloton. We need to slow up. Ben Hermans is here. It's awfully late in the stage for this to have happened. After the zero team support BS that is set up the way it is for Pro Cyclist mode, that they don't drop back and support the leader. Once you're out of the group, you're all alone. Still 3k to go to the top of this climb, and you can see I'm just barely hanging on energy-wise, but I am making my way back towards the front.
You see that? You can read the pain on the faces at the back of the peloton. There's a growing number
Nearly
of
to the
riders
top.
left
Come
behind.
on.
The breakaway is not
1k to go.
The peloton has significantly increased its speed.
Luckily the pace isn't that bad that I'm keeping up here.
To leaving the victory to the escapees. Breakaway.
Yeah, 12 minutes behind now. There's the top. There's the top. Okay, come on. Big recovery time. Big recovery.
Riders to recover from their earlier efforts.
Between the two climbs, hopefully I can get fully recovered. I just don't know about it. We're halfway down, and I'm just now going to start getting some yellow bar. I get back to the front position at least. And I get a little bit of yellow bar before the next climb.
There's a sustained rhythm at the moment. Some riders definitely won't be able to keep up.
Okay, it's a short climb. We're already 2k from the top, so... Okay, I will make it to the top of this climb and recover a little more. Here comes an acceleration, though. Ugh, Lopez is in it. Along with Gegenhardt, there's nothing I could do because of the earlier crash and chase. Verwilst is dropped, but you can see that as we head towards this final climb, I'm really struggling to recover here. Flat section here, I might recover a little more, hopefully, if the chase isn't too bad. Nicola Conchi has fallen. I'm already going back. Here's a big acceleration. I'm going to get dropped on this climb. There's no way I'm going to be in the final grouping. I'm starting it with 15% energy. $12K to go. Still 3 riders off the front. I still have team support, which is awesome, but I didn't get the team support when I needed it. And you can see that already, base of the climb, I'm in all kinds of trouble. Quintana attacking. I have no hope of going with any of these guys, so I gotta... luckily, we just pulled them back. This is that steepest section right now, I think. Not quite. 13%. That's not bad. No, it's awful. It's just not 25. Oh, there it is. 22, 25. 25%. Definitely not going with any attacks as Lopez goes again. I'm already down to a group of 22. I'm just a strong enough climber that without energy, not initially getting dropped by the group, but now I go out the back. I need to just go pure pace here. I'm not going to recover in any way. I can just outclimb these guys. Can't leave them behind, but I can outclimb them. I'm actually dropping riders. So Marouet takes the win from the break. Ciccone second. Dumoulin wins the climb of the favorites. Gegenhardt, Landa, Lopez, Bennett, Uran, Soler, Quintana, Thomas. Looks like I'll take 20th. Tons of time lost today, all because of that crash. Oh, that was just horribly timed and even more horribly handled by the team. Any real-world scenario, the whole flippin' team would have hit the brakes and pulled me back into the field, saving my energy, sacrificing themselves. I would have been riding solo, which was what I expected anyway, but I would have been mostly okay and certainly would have recovered on those 2 descents what I needed, as opposed to going from literally nothing in energy to 15% was the max that I was able to recover in those short descents. So, race ruined by a crash, race ruined by the team's failure to handle that scenario. If it was career mode, I would have had the whole team slowing to a crawl, waiting for that top rider and pulling them back.
Now for the best moments of the day.
Big day for the break. Bad day for me. Really unfortunate. The gap ended up 325 to the top 4 riders. 419 to this group. That's 5. I end up 6.5 minutes down. And I drop back to 9th place again at 9:17 now. Dumoulin with a almost 4-minute lead. Barrier, where was he? I didn't see his name up here at all. It was 14th at 5 minutes down. So he was still ahead of me. They all were. I mean, I just had 0 energy at the base of the climb. I didn't last very long at all. I still have a 3-minute gap to Quintana in 10th at least. But I reset. I go right back down. I had moved up, and I go right back down the order. So the 3 minutes that I lost was very unfortunate. As today could have been a much better day for me. I could have put myself up the order a bit. instead of down. Unlucky. Unlucky. No points on the stage after that. No surprise there. But we do live to fight another day. And fight we will. So a breakaway of 26 riders. Only 2 have been dropped. And one of them has remade contact. The only one who was dropped and unable to stay in the group and recover is my only teammate in the break. And supposedly my strongest teammate in the field in Ben Hermans. That's what I'm dealing with here, people. That's what I'm dealing with. My best support rider is the weakest of the 26 that were in the breakaway today. Now we've gone through 2 pretty hefty climbs already at Category 2 and a long Category 1 that was led up by an even longer uphill gradual ascent that did plenty of damage to the field. Peloton's down to 67 riders as we approach the 3rd climb of the day, another Category 1, even steeper this time. In all, we will have 4 climbs. This one, 11 kilometers at 7%. Herman's back in the group. Osorio, Banishek, the only other ones still here with me. And the Peloton is shrinking quickly, down to 50 now. Herman's quickly out the back. He didn't last long here either. Osorio and Banishek hanging on for now, but it looks like Banishek might be done soon. I did try briefly, just briefly, I didn't want to waste much energy right at the beginning of the stage to see where I was at status-wise for breakaway. I'm still 9th overall, but I am 9 minutes down. We're down to just 33 riders here in the Peloton. Sorio is here. Banishek has been dropped, but I actually do have a support rider heading into the final climb. So here over the flat, at the very least, I'm good to go. I like that. Meanwhile, Sorio, why don't you go ahead and get me some water? Ready for this final climb. Don't have to worry about it later as we go through that tunnel. Breakaway has shattered a bit. It's split up into 5 groups. And it's 20k to go. Final climb, not terribly long as far as climbs go, but it is pretty steep. There's going to be some points at the top. Today, things are looking much better than recent days, but let's go ahead and bring it on down so that we are ready for that final climb. See what kind of time we can bring back. It's a 5-minute gap to the front of the field, so breakaway likely will claim the stage. So this is all about GC contention. Peloton growing in size. The chase group has caught back up, so we're up to 49 riders, and they actually recovered as Osorio and Banishek are now both with me in prep for this final climb. So that's a big step. Banishek, why don't you come back and protect again, huh? For a second, it looked like we were turning onto the climb, but not quite. That left right there, we already hit that climb. That was the first climb. So 8K, 10% gradient with most of the climbing in the first 4.5, 5K. Gets a little more gentle towards the top. But we're going to come up this climb from a different side. Different angle than last time. Banishek does finally get here to the front. 7K to go. Bardet, Landa, Lopez, Latour.
Mikel Landa goes onto the attack.
The finish line is getting close.
Alright, it's time to step things up a little bit. It's going to use up Banishek more quickly, but it's only 6K to go to the top anyway. Katana, Lopez, Landa out front. I'd like to bridge that gap maybe right over the top here. Things level off a little bit. Can I get out to those guys?
A few riders are capable of following the very fast pace up front.
Attacked by Rohan Dennis.
Oh, come on. Ah! Red bar used up just a little early. There you go. Made it into the group. Now we can sit up. 4K. There's Landa, Carthy, Lopez, Quintana. These guys are all breakaway riders, but top climbers. Gel. I think I used a little too much energy, though, so I'm not going to attack anymore. Just trying to hang in there. About to get split from those couple guys, but there's Dumoulin catching up. 2.5K. I ride with him. Ah, there goes my energy. 1.9K. This will be a mixed result. I think it'll be better than my 9th if I can stay ahead of this chase group behind. There's 16 riders a minute behind me.
Oh, yes, he had enough in the tank.
Breakaway takes the win. Gabregzabir takes the stage over Uran, Caruso, Micah. Dumoulin, first of the contenders in 7th, Berrier in 8th. A couple of those chase riders caught me. Landa, Lopez, there's Quintana, Gegenhardt, Latour, myself, Palace, Bennett, Thomas. I will gain time on some of the contenders, lose time to a few others. That initial break, I needed to be with those guys immediately, and it took me too long to cover that gap. I wasted too much energy doing so, but at the same time, those guys, the ones behind, never came back. They only came back as far as myself, those top few guys. So if I hadn't gone with that initial... Actually, I think there was a second attack with Dumoulin a little bit later, but that would have been maybe even harder to try to go with at that point. Just because this game is so OP for Dumoulin as a climber. Said it before, I'll say it again. Good climber, not great. He is a great time trialist. That's where he's a contender in the Giro and La Vuelta and has won. He does just enough on the climbs, but he goes out and dominates the time trial. That's why he'll never win the Tour de France. The climbing is too intense, too much. He'll never be a contender for the Tour.
And here are the race highlights that we've selected for you.
Because he's just not quite elite as a climber. But this game has him rated just elite. And he keeps winning climbs that he shouldn't. My gap's a little bigger than I thought it was. I thought it was only about a minute down. Okay, minute and a half down on Dumoulin. It's not a bad time. So, still in 9th, Dumoulin. Same gap to Berrier. And then Landa, Gegenhardt, Martinez only 3 seconds down from 4th. Bennett, Soler. There's Lopez. I'm now 10:45 behind. I still have more than 2 minutes to Quintana, though that gap is a little bit smaller right now. Okay, Bennett had the same time as I did. Martinez lost. I gained 15 seconds on him, so he did move down a little bit. Gegenhardt was got past him. There you go. With a 15-second difference between them. But otherwise, the top 10 all kind of came in at roughly the same time with the back end. These guys pretty much on the same time as myself. Quintana gained a little bit of time. And Lopez. win the stage. I don't know why the team thinks that I could or should win stages late in a Grand Tour where you know the breakaway is going to win almost every single one of them, for one thing. For another, where I have no team support whatsoever. Logic. Not their strength. Stage 16, heavy climbing to do. 2 easy climbs at the start. 2 difficult climbs to follow, and 1 crazy intense final climb. It's only 5.4% average gradient, but it's 22 kilometers in length. We just go up, up, and away in this stage 16. These 2 intense climbs, though, they'll shake up the field, so I think we'll pick up just before the 3rd climb of the day. "90 kilometers to go. We're on to that middle climb of the day. And the peloton just started to shatter pretty extensively. About 50 riders have been dropped in the last 2 kilometers. Breakaway was a bit bigger, but it's down to 20, and they're losing riders pretty quickly. I've already lost Van Hoek, Rondags, and Verwilst out the back. Banashek just hanging on right now. Hermans also fading. I could be solo by the time we go over the top of this climb, though I think Hermans might make it. We're just 2.5K from the top. Osorio is in the break. Well, was in the break. He's now in no man's land in between. We go over the top with 58 riders in the peloton. I'm good to go. Banashek and Hermans both hanging on. That's big for me if I can get these 2 over the next climb as well, or at least one of them. So I've got a little bit of support heading into the final climb. That would be pretty massive. Peloton at 73. Breakaway is shattered. Not sure where everybody's at in that regards, but I continue to borrow the points jersey from Tom Dumoulin, 2nd in that classification, but well out of that contest as Tom Dumoulin has a huge lead. I'm now falling back in the KOM as well as we begin to catch breakaway riders. 51 in the peloton, chasing 11 in the break. Osorio's been caught. Banashek, both of them struggling. Hermans hanging on, though. I think Hermans will get through this climb. Mataway in the break has picked up a lot of points. He's now on top with Ciccone. Froome just 1 point behind, and I'm now a handful of points behind those guys. So if I could, maybe win this final climb or something like that, then, win the stage, that'd be nice. That would get me back in the KOM, but I think otherwise I'm pretty much done in that contest. Nobody's interested in letting me get into a break. I gave it a little shot again today. Still 9th place, but now almost 11 minutes behind. But the moment I go off the front, there is an intense chase, even if I'm solo or one of only a few riders off the front. So they're not interested in others. They're interested in me, especially when they're allowing groups of near 30 getting away with massive names, including Chris Froome, the Yates brothers, and many, many other top climbers getting into that group. The fact that I'm in the top 10 apparently is still making me a threat. In real life, you'll often see somebody like Thibaut Pinot slip to about 9th place and be 5 or 6 minutes down, and they'll go into the break and nobody bats an eyelash. And then they'll go win the stage and move up to 5th place, and then they start batting an eyelash, but, not initially. Okay, on to the final climb. Hermans, Osorio both struggling and go out the back. So 43 riders are here. 16K to go on this climb. Down to a small group ahead of us, but it's all shattering, so it's hard to tell exactly how many there are without opening the menu. No damage to me right now as we're down to 13K. I haven't really gone up or down yellow bar in a while, so we're kind of just cruise mode as the peloton gets smaller and smaller. 31 riders now. Others can't handle the pace and the intensity. I can. Lopez attacking. I would be interested, and I should. He's the next position ahead of me, but it's a little early for his attack. And you can see we're already about to pull him back in. So Pierre Latour for AG2R brings him back. And now I actually am fading a bit, aren't I? Let's go and use that gel now. 6K from the top. Lopez attacking again? How does he have any energy to even do that? 20 riders. There we go. With the gel, I'm recovering a bit. Here's the acceleration. Barrier and Gegenhardt attack. No, it's Landa. See, Nibley's in the break. Nobody cares about him being in the break. 1.9K and I'm fading? Really? Why? What's going on? 1.4K. I'm in a peloton of just 10 riders now. Bob Jungels takes the win from the break. Nielsen Palace second. Micah third. Conrad, Mattaway, Froome all from the break. Barrier wins this climb. How is this kid doing this? Landa, Dumoulin, Quintana, Lopez, Bennett, Uran left from the break. I'm going to be in the next group, second group on the road with Martinez, Gegenhardt. There's Haig. I think there was a couple more guys with us, but there are time gaps. There are some names missing from that top 20 list, from the top 10 overall. A lot of breakaway riders hanging in there. Top 6 plus about 7 others. So only 7 of the top 10 into the top 20. There was 1 or 2 more riders behind me, so maybe we've gained time on a contender or 2. Really disappointed that I ran out of energy with about a K to go, though, considering I didn't attack and just sat in the group. Oh, right. No protection. No teammates around me. That could be why. Those guys might have had teammates a little bit longer. I do, of course, still lack stamina, and this was just a long enough stage where that's going to kick in on that final climb, have a minor effect on that yellow bar. But with a mountain rating of 84, I should have been able to keep that pace without burning through much energy, especially with the resistance of 79. So I figured I would have made it to the top at the pace we were going. And seeing Lopez able to attack multiple times and ride solo and be caught like that and still ride away a third time? The heck? Superman? Looking at that, he's no better than I am. Unless he's in form right now. Could be. So 220 was the gap. Bennett a little bit up the road to Moulin. Quintana again. And Lopez, he's suddenly finding some form here. Late in this race. But Barrier and Landa, what the heck is up with those guys? Losing time. Caruso, Pogacar, Latour, guys that were already behind us. But I know we're missing a name or two. Don't see it. Don't see it. Yeah, there's Lopez, now 2 minutes ahead of me. Quintana keeps pulling time back. Not sure where that's coming from. Seems to be the leader now over Martinez, even though Martinez is in the top 5. And he's only just in the top 10. Uran has ridden himself back into this race from the breakaway with surviving the last couple stages. But you can see He's only 11th. I'm ninth. And yet they don't care when he tries to go in the break. They haven't cared when Quintana tried to go in the break earlier. They don't care when Haig goes in the break. Latour. These guys are in the break almost every time. Froome. Caruso. These guys all riding in the break every stage. Is it because I'm in the top 10 physically? Is that the cutoff? Because Quintana hasn't been in the break lately. Could be. But I've been in 11th and not been allowed to go away either. No points again. A little frustrating. We're nearly to a fitness peak, but I don't think it's going to kick in until just after the race. So useless for now. Stage 17 is a sprint stage. So this will bring us into the final few stages. 18, 19, 20, and 21 remain. If 21 is in Madrid, we're looking at maybe 3 climbing stages left. We'll see where we're at on that matter before we wrap this episode up. And we'll have one more to finish off La Vuelta. Big climbing stage. 4 big climbs. You go out, turn around, and we come back, reversing our way through those 2 climbs. Stage 19, pretty flat, little punchy at the end. 20, another big climbing day. So we have 2 big climbing days left in this year's La Vuelta. I don't think the standings are going to change much at this point, especially when I can't seem to shake any of the other guys around the top 10, or if I do gain time, it's a matter of seconds. So 2 stages have cost me most of the time that I lost in this race. I'm 10 minutes 45 seconds down, and 7 minutes of that have come from one tactical error and 1 crash. And other than that, hello, I'm a favorite today. Okay, I like that idea, but when you shave off 4 minutes, and I'm right there with Mikel Landa at 3rd place. So we are so stinking close to having the result that the team wants, despite the poor support from the team most of this race. We have had a stage victory, so I mean, at least there's that. Have we had 2? I know I've had multiple podiums, but there's been odd ones, like that previous stage. It was a long climb. Eventually, it's just going to dig in. But how other riders are surviving and I'm not surviving those. Oh, I could trigger my fitness peak right now. I'm over 90%. Yeah, once you get over 90%, you could trigger it yourself. I will check into that and see if it's worth triggering based on the calendar. I gotta make sure, because I'll have 28 days from now. So it'll last right into early October. And yeah, nothing else going on. It's going to be going to be gone long before Lombardia. So, and triggering it now, it will not expire prior to the Worlds. So we are now going to have our fitness peak on form what I want. Nice achievement for that. So we are now onto the fitness peak for those last couple of climbing stages. See if it makes a difference going forward, that extra race day condition. Could it help boost our position a little bit? That's part of the reason why I haven't been as successful here as I could have. Like that first stage where I lost that 3.5 minutes. Maybe I survived that stage. Well, that still came down to a tactical error in the first place that opened that gap that had nothing to do with my inability to ride, but the time gap, right? Maybe it's only 2 minutes if I have the fitness peak, because I could have recovered more time. Because I did recover time, but then lost time in addition because I didn't have enough energy to ride solo up the whole climb. So if I had better energy, better climbing capability in that stage due to fitness peak, maybe the gap would have only been, say, 2 minutes instead of 3.5. Minute and a half is definitely a difference in a race. And then, of course, that other stage where I just lost a minute a couple stages ago, I probably would have had the energy to stay put that time, so I don't lose that minute. So there's 3 minutes that you've gained back. And maybe after that crash, I get back up on the bike and close that gap a little bit quicker, have a little more energy, still get dropped on that climb, but instead of losing another 3.5 minutes, maybe I only lose, say, 2 minutes again. And there you go. There's 5.5, 6, 7 minutes back that we've lost here and there. Guaranteed Barrier, that guy is crushing it on a fitness peak right now. Lopez, there's no way that he attacks again on that last stage and still has energy and gets to the top before other riders. Not happening. He's got to be on a fitness peak. So a lot of the top 10 contenders appear to be in a fitness peak. I haven't been. So maybe that levels the playing field a little bit these last couple of stages, and I actually can stay with those top few guys. Gain a little time, maybe claw back a position or two yet again, and move up the standings a little bit. But at this point, not a big deal. I'm in 9th place. I'm not going to get the podium. Probably not going to drop out of the top 10 either. So not much left to ride for. KOM's out of reach. Points classification out of reach. They won't let me get in the break to win the KOM, so I don't know. 1 stage to go, though. Not 1 stage, 1 episode. A couple climbing stages to go. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.